Yonda. We were in Ohio, Cincinnati. One of the chiropractor's wives, smart guy, good hands, was suffering for several years with a low back pain that had a working diagnosis of some kind of nerve root syndrome. In other words, there wasn't a positive disc, but the nerve root, where it comes out in the spine, in the low back, travels along a bony gutter that's 5 to 10 millimeters long, which is long for spinal gutters, if you will. And there's a wrapping around the nerve, an epineurinum, perineurinum. And if there's irritation or inflammation for some reason that's unattended to, that can be the seedbed for adhesion. Now, nerve roots are particularly sensitive to pushing and pulling and tethering. Just a few millimeters of mercury is enough to set them off. So they're tender. And she had all kinds of manipulations, you name it, therapies, boxes with wires, people with funny hats with the moon and the stars on them, and all kinds of things. No change. So he asked if he could bring to the Grand Round section his wife. He did. He evaluated her. And in about, because he trusted his workup to the extent that he knew that he had good hands so that he could rely on that to some extent. He double-checked a few things. And then I'm going to use Charlie for this, so I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. Can you hold the camera facing towards us? And Charlie will come face down here. And what he did was simply this. He put his hand gently over the mass of the glute, and he sprung the glute, just like that. That was it. And then he compared to the other side. And one side didn't go. Let's say it was this side. So, here's how he did the treatment, and then I'll tell you what happened. And this is all that he did. He had to reach overhead with the right hand, left hand, and bring the right hand down. And this is what he advised them. You're going to scooch headwards just a little bit so that Charlie could hook his toe, his foot, the dorsum of his foot, into the table at the same time that he's reaching away gently and taking a breath in. This motion is taken out to the end of its slack, not hard, held for a few seconds, and let go. And he did that 3 or 4 times. So you're going to hook the foot, reach the hand, breathe in, hold the breath, take the mass of the glute as it allows you to slide and glide and wait, and release. And then you can do that one more time. It's simply hooking under, reaching, breathing in, holding, and gliding down on the side that you don't feel had that restriction, and rest. So, the woman came back the next day and said, Vlad asked, how are your symptoms? It was the first time I slept through a night, she said, in almost several years. And they did it 2 more times over the course of the conference. And at the end of the conference, 3 days later, she had 0 symptoms, signs, or anything. She had work to do, but she knew what to do. But the factors that, remember we talked about initiating, perpetuating, and exacerbating can all be the same. And the questions you ask determine the answers you get. Nobody did this to her. So nobody knew that there was some kind of gluteal fascial myo-envelope that was unaddressed, continued to pull on the, however, through the myofascial business that attends to the lumbar spine and sacral roots, and in 3 days it was done. for the most part. The work had to begin, but the symptom presentation was done. So I now give you permission to poke butts. So face down, get a partner. I don't know. I haven't done it.
So you're breathing out this last.
That's a good question.
Would you ask
While you're breathing in, just hold it. And then do I release it
Didn't
as you let go?
It's supposed to be some. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why we.
No, it's on the side that's restricted. That doesn't have glide and spring. It has to glide.
Ask Charlie how to shut this off. Oh, there he is.
I'll have something, I'll go down to that and hold here.
Yeah.
This is different because they're also then providing that stretch.
The release occurs during the breath holding and the reaching contraction.